Welcome to 0 to 60.
I'm Matt McChesney. I am the owner and operator of 60 Football Academy and 60 Equipment. Played at the University of Colorado from 2004. 6 years in the National Football League on both sides of football.
I'm Matt McChesney. This is 0 to 60. That is Coach Prime. We are at the University of Colorado. Brother, thank you so much.
All right. 0 to 60. We're rolling.
Welcome to 0 to 60. I'm your host, Matt McChesney. We're down here at the lab at 60 Football Academy. I just got done with a big offensive line group this morning, working with some pros here this mid-morning, I guess, before we rock the ones and the twos here on the show. We're going to be going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday specifically here moving forward. There won't be any more surprise shows. That didn't work out very well. If you're really that offended, that's your problem. But yeah, Bailey's on the ones and the twos. Let's pay some bills and we'll roll.
Let's pay some bills. It's going to be a great show. It's fine. Wednesday, lots to talk about. But this show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Matt, we are here on this fine Wednesday following the Super Bowl, and lots of Colorado news to discuss here today. But first, let's talk Super Bowl. Down goes Chiefs Queendom. I was out in California with Coach JB, and this was unbelievable. I mean, I was shocked, to be honest with you. But, Matt, what were your thoughts on the Super Bowl? I don't think it was that good of a game. It was kind of a blowout, to be honest with you, but it was fun watching the Chiefs. And the Eagles really took it to them. What are your thoughts?
Still a little under the weather here, folks, so
all good.
It doesn't seem to be going away. I have laryngitis really bad and been walking around. I've had walking pneumonia for like 6 weeks, and it's just
I'm sorry, man.
awful. It won't go away. That said, the Super Bowl was I thought it was awesome. I mean, watching Kansas City get smacked around the field was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and act like it wasn't. I felt bad for my guy Mike Pennell,
Right.
but he's got 3 rings, so I can't feel that bad for him. I think that I'm glad that the running quarterbacks can't win the Super Bowl narrative is dead. I'm so glad it's dead. I don't know what to do with myself. The list of guys that never won a ring and still haven't, and the list of guys that have, it means something for quarterbacks. It doesn't seem to mean shit for other positions, but it damn sure means something for quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts is on that list now. And you got to think that with as much cap space as they have, because all they do is draft guys from Georgia that all pan out. They're in the Myles Garrett conversation. They're in every big time player that if you're out there and you want to win a ring, you're probably going to go to Philly before you go to Kansas City. You're probably going to go to Philly or probably going to go to Baltimore before you go to Kansas City. We're probably going to go to Buffalo before you go to Kansas City. Like Kansas City, I'm not saying their run is over. Patrick Mahomes is still an elite player, but Andy Reid got out-coached. Patrick Mahomes got outplayed. Travis Kelce needs to retire. The defense looked like it didn't prepare at all. Spagnuolo looked angry. They got exposed, bro. And I'll tell you, right off the bat, when they threw that offensive PI, I almost had a fucking.
I saw your Twitter, and I was like,
people like, well, just turn it off. Yeah, I'm going to turn off the Super Bowl, dumb fuck. Like, bro, everybody had that reaction I was with. I know everybody at JB's place had the same reaction. Mm-hmm. If you didn't have that reaction, you're a Chiefs fan and you were sitting there clapping. So bro, I'm telling you, like the NFL tried to do what they've been doing. It just that's the way that you get the NFL and the people that are rigging games away from rigging games. You just beat the shit out of them. So hats off to Philly. That's I was at the Super Bowl where they beat Tom Brady. They're slaying giants, bro. They take down Brady. They took down Mahomes in a rematch, and they didn't just take him down. They exposed him. Patrick Mahomes looked like a fucking run-of-the-mill, average-ass quarterback to me. And I understand he's got multiple rings, but I'm just going to say this right now. There is no debate on the GOAT.
Thank you.
Tom Brady and what he accomplished for 20 years in New England. 7 Super Bowl wins, going to Tampa Bay to win, is get to 7. Go win it with 2 franchises. Then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's be real. The list of guys who've won with 2 franchises, that's a real small list too. You want to go over it? It's called Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm just saying, man, I appreciate Patrick Mahomes. I appreciate what we've seen, even though I'm in Denver and this is Broncos country and we don't like them too much.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate it. It's been an unbelievable run. 5 Super Bowls in 7 years. Like the way that they won, it's more impressive than Buffalo's 4. It's more impressive than Dallas's 3. It's more impressive than San Francisco's 3 in 4 years. It's impressive, okay? But the 2 games that they lost, they got the bricks beat off of them. And it's been 2 blueprints on how to beat the Chiefs. And I'm surprised nobody figured it out the first time when Tampa Bay blueprinted how to beat them. So I would anticipate now, just like in the NBA, when you've got a guy like Nikola Jokic, everybody's looking for a big and a guy who can come off the bench to give fucking 6 fouls, right? That's the way it works because we got to deal with 15. Well, now the Philadelphia Eagles have said, look, we're drafting defensive linemen over and over and over again, and we're going to go get elite ones in free agency and the trade market when they're available, and we're never going to stop stockpiling. We don't have 4 starters. We have 9 starters.
Yeah.
We got guys that we're just rotating in that are as good as the guys that we rotated out. And that is how you beat these guys. And honestly, that's how you beat 99.9% of good quarterbacks. That's how Tom Brady got beat when they were undefeated. That's how the Giants beat them twice, really. The first time that team, they in 08, 7, whenever the undefeated team was, that team, the Giants defensive line with OC and Strahan and Justin Tuck and all them boys, they fucking annihilated the Patriots in the game.
That's like how the Seahawks beat the Broncos in 2013. Chris Clemens and Cliff Averill and all those cats.
They just hit them in the mouth the game, right? So intimidated the signal caller. They intimidated Patrick Mahomes. They intimidated Tom Brady in games. If you go out and intimidate the GOATs, you win. So, to be honest with you, I've always had Mahomes in my top 5, and he'll remain there at 5. But he's got to, once you get to 2 Super Bowls, I mean, it's more about appearances and competition for me at that point than just winning them. You know what I'm saying? Like Elway going to 5 and taking a team that had no business being there to 3, but winning 2 means something. If Jim Kelly could have figured out how to win 2 Super Bowls and have 6 appearances, that would mean something. But if they couldn't figure out how to win, you know what I'm saying? So Terry Bradshaw and everything he did, it's got to mean something, but he's just outside looking in, It's the Kansas City dynasty is far from dead. I think that still the AFC has to prove that they can slay the dragon and keep them out of the Super Bowl consistently instead of just a one-off. Now we need Cincinnati to step up. We need Denver to step up. We need Buffalo or Baltimore to beat them and represent the AFC next year. But, yeah, man, I mean, good NFL season. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but hats off to the Eagles. That was that was an ass fucking kicking, dog.
Facts. And I told you last week Spagnuolo was going to shut down something, and he shut down Saquon. I mean, I thought that's the one thing the Chiefs could do is stop Saquon. And Jalen Hurts went out and shut down a lot of different narratives in that victory.
I think Jalen Hurts is pretty good, dude.
Yeah, and he every time they were backed up on third down, he'd make a play. He played very, very well. Obviously, deserving the Super Bowl MVP. Everyone thought it was going to be Saquon.
I don't know how you can pick against Philly moving forward. I don't know how you can pick against Philly moving forward into next year. First of all, they have a ton of cap space, a ton, and that's not usually the way it works when you've got a team like this.
Right, and a quarterback.
Jalen Hurts is on a manageable quarterback deal, and he has no ego. Saquon Barkley, you got for fucking pennies on the dollar, even though he got paid. It's still not a huge deal because he's a running back. Do you want to keep A.J. Brown and the distraction around? It seemed to work out this year.
I figured it out.
Why not just fucking throw some more money at him and make him happy and keep him around? I'm sorry, A.J., you're probably not going to be in the record books around here, but you're going to have 3 or 4 rings potentially. They need to fucking pay Sirianni and apologize.
Yeah.
And give him a little bit of leeway, okay? And then go out and sign Myles Garrett and see if you can go undefeated. Let's be fucking real, dog. This team they draft their ass off. Howie Roseman is a fucking G. That guy can identify talent. And tell me the last time the Eagles missed with a draft pick. I'm not talking about a first rounder. I'm talking like a draft pick.
Right. All rounds.
Well, their biggest miss.
Yeah.
The biggest miss I can remember is Jalen Reagor over Jordan Jefferson. Can you imagine if they would have taken Jordan Jefferson with that pick instead of Jalen Reagor?
Yeah, having Justin
Jefferson would be on that team too. Yeah. Fuck me.
Yeah, they're seriously loaded, especially. I'm sure you appreciated the offensive line play. Obviously, they're coached by a great offensive line coach as well. The future is bright in Philly as they win a Super Bowl. Another one, you saw Brandon Graham out there playing. He came back obviously from, I believe, a season-ending injury, and he came back early and played. And man, that was great to see for Philly. And down goes Chiefs Queendom, as we've been saying all week. But Matt, let's talk a little Buffs news. We got a lot to talk about in terms of Colorado. Let's start. Where are we going? Let's start with this. So, obviously, Colorado has hired 5-time Pro Bowler Andre Gerard as their assistant offensive line coach. Matt, you got a lot of insight on this. Let's start. What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Unbelievable hire. The right guy for the job. Dre's a great friend of mine. We played together at CU. I'm obviously going to fucking help him as much as I can help him. We're constantly talking back and forth. Good for Coach Gunner being in the room. Good for Coach Haig being in the room, but that's your offensive line coach. I know it says assistant. I don't care. That's your offensive line coach. He'll take over the room. When I met with Coach Prime, he brought up Coach Faulk, Marshall Faulk. Yeah, Coach Faulk.
Yeah.
Shit. And Coach Gerard. And I thought it sounded good then. I wasn't patient enough to let the process play out before talking about it the last time. And the next day, the phone calls came. I'm excited to help consult and be there during camps and be up there during practice and help when I'm called upon, and use the platform I have down here at 6-0 to help with the recruiting aspect of things and everything else that we're going to have going on behind the scenes that y'all don't need to know about, because that's the beauty of all this. But yeah, man, this is the kind of hire that we need. I'm just going to be real. This is the best offensive lineman I've ever played against in my entire fucking life. And he was unbelievable in college, but playing against him in the NFL was like pick your poison, because he's about to shit stomp you. All right. So Dre's mean. He understands what it takes to be really successful up there. He loves his university. Obviously, he's got great NFL lineage. I'd imagine that he's going to be a Ring of Famer in Dallas, 5 fucking Pro Bowls and 3 first-team All-Pros.
Mm-hmm.
If those teams he was on with Tony Romo could have ever won a damn playoff game, then I'd imagine you'd be talking about bigger things with Andre. He's a college football Hall of Famer. His name's in the stadium. This is a no-brainer. So, shit, man, if it's going to be anybody other than me, it just didn't work out. This is the fucking home run hire of the year, dog. This is bigger than Marshall Faulk as running back coach, in my opinion. This is, I think it's bigger than Sapp getting promoted. Like, this is bringing in a guy who I'm really excited to see what him and the other 2 coaches, Gunner and Higgs, can do with this group. And just from a recruiting standpoint, it should excite the recruits. So, yeah, this is a really, really good fucking hire. And hats off to Dre. Bro, this is awesome. Welcome home. I can't fucking wait to help you. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. And Gerard last coached in the UFL, I believe, in San Antonio. And like somebody mentioned in the chat, I do believe this is somebody who would be here for the long haul and help really develop this O-line room with Coach Hageman and Gunnar White.
Well, really, that's the thing that I tried to make a strong point when I interviewed and talked to Coach Bryant face-to-face about this was we got to stop this, like, the in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could bring this up, but I think it's since 2017.
Really?
We haven't had the same offensive line coach. And even then, I think he was a 2-year coach. So we've been fucking rotating offensive line coaches in and out for a really, really long time. Again, as a guy who played up there for the same head coach and the same position coach the entire time I was there, I think it's important for development. And even though these days development isn't the number one thing anymore, it's still the most important thing. It may not be the number one thing, but it damn sure is the most important thing. So I'm excited about this, bro. This is a big time fucking hire. And Coach Prime's always got something up his sleeve. So, like, even Coach Lewis leaving for Miami, where you would expect him to leave. That's his alma mater. I'm surprised that Coach Sapp didn't get this job. That's also his alma mater. And no offense, Coach Lewis, but Coach Sapp is a better player. And I'm probably a better – I don't know if he's a better coach, but we'll see. Like, I'm glad that Coach Sapp isn't leaving. Now he can just be the head defensive line coach. So,
yeah,
the staff is deep. The staff is NFL, top to bottom. And that's what you want when you're recruiting kids that are trying to go to the NFL. So,
yeah, for sure.
Pretty impressive. And look, I don't have a problem with Coach Lewis leaving for Miami. That's his alma mater. Go get paid, dog.
For sure. And we'll break that down in a sec. One thing with Gerard coming in with Hageman and Gunnar White, I think offensive line room is young but talented. You got Jordan Seaton, Cash Cleveland. They brought in a bunch of transfers. Plays out this offseason, headed into spring here. But Matt, you sound optimistic. I'm very optimistic, and I'm excited to see Coach Gerard lead this offensive line room to success coming week 1 against Georgia Tech. Well, let's move forward here. Matt, it's on the thumbnail. Warren Sapp time.
Is that, like, too loyal? Like, it's a bad thing? East Coast?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you mean? Like, I'm questioning, like, is that, I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. That's a good question.
I would guess it's a good thing, but let's break this down. So obviously, Damian Lewis, hired by Miami, is their next defensive line coach. Obviously, he led that defensive line room last season with Coach Dancy and Warren Sapp. Matt, you mentioned briefly in the beginning. What are your thoughts on him leaving to his alma mater? What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, like I just said, I think it's a great move, and you can't be mad at the guy for it. Mm-hmm. It's where he played. He was a first rounder. This is a good move for Miami. He got a pretty big pay increase. If I read correctly, they have more in their coaching coffers. Coach Prime's going to continue to have this problem until they fix it. Mm-hmm. Where you can't pay your coaches the same way other places can. Now, that said, you're bringing up the Coach Sapp thing. Like, yes, he's extremely loyal to Coach Prime. It might hurt his pocketbook a little bit because, see, you can't pay him as much. But then again, I mean, it's apples and oranges, right? So, yeah, good for Coach Lewis. Good for Coach Sapp now that he's going to be the head man. I'm assuming at least. This is good all the way around. I mean, would you like to keep Coach Lewis around? Of course. But that's not the way this shit works.
No, it's not. And it's a business. And like you mentioned, Coach Prime's going to have this issue. And we'll talk about Coach Livingston, D coordinator, and his extension in a second. But obviously, Steve Kim, who I talked to at Coach JB's party, he posted this about Coach Lewis. Damian Lewis was one of the first big national recruiting wins for Butch Davis in the mid-1990s and was part of the great Texas to Miami pipeline in that era. Now he's back as Miami's D-line coach. So shout out to Coach Lewis. But Matt, let's talk Warren Sapp here. So obviously the thumbnail says Warren Sapp time. Let's break this down. So Coach Sapp sat down with the guys at DMVR and kind of talked about the transition of the offensive line room or the defensive line room and how he's optimistic for the future from 24 to 25. Take a listen.
Foundation, laid, and it's a solid foundation. Now we're going to put the pillars up and put a roof on this thing and make it a pavilion, because we just going to keep building on what we have. The foundation is there. We have our core group of guys, and whoever's joining will do it our way and do it right. Yeah. They will implement it on them. That's what you want. You want a culture to where you just standing there and they're implementing what you're going to do. Yeah, that's what you want, because that's how it gets fixed.
Definitely.
Once it's fixed and you get on the sideline, I show you, yeah, coach, we doing this, boom. Yeah, let's go. Definitely. Now we on fix, on to the next one. Admittance is the first step to recovery.
100%.
Matt, I'm excited for the future. What are your thoughts on Coach Sapp's comments there?
I mean, look, he was an unbelievable player. I'd assume that he's the same way as a coach, and all I've heard and seen is that he is. Now that he's going to be the prominent voice in the room and he doesn't have to compete for airtime, essentially, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, bro, that's the way. Again, when you've got a guy who wears a gold jacket that's this enthusiastic and totally bought into being the D-line coach and loving it, well, that's what you're looking for. So, Coach Sapp is a fucking G, bro. He's the shit. So, I mean, the same way I'm going to be consulting and helping Coach Gerard. I mean, I played D-line at CU. Let's be real. I played 3 technique. I used to idolize this guy back in the day when I played. The old Sappo way and all the pass rush moves that he had back in the day. You were trying to emulate on tape, and now he's up there coaching. So, it's this door swings both ways. The defensive line up there is really lucky to have a guy like this coaching them, and the consistency. He's still there. He's not taking another job. You know what I'm saying? So, you have him right there talking about the torque and the rip and the footwork that goes along with it. Not just like reaching and slapping guys, but being real forceful with your hands.
Yep.
Coach Sapp is one of the best pass rushing 3 techniques in the history of the game. I'd imagine they're going to have a defensive end coach that's primarily working with those guys too, but I don't know that. I'm excited about the potential of this staff for sure.
Yeah, and I'm excited too. And let's stick on the defensive side of the ball. Talk some more coaching news. So Colorado and Coach Prime agree with an extension with Robert Livingston, 2 years, $3.1 million deal. He gets $1.5 million at 25 and $1,600,000 26. Matt, this makes Robert Livingston the highest paid assistant in Colorado football history. This is something that I think is needed. Obviously, Coach Livingston's impact last season was felt. That defense, especially in the second half of games, really shut down people and was improved from season before. Matt, we've been talking about this all offseason. What are your thoughts on this extension? Deserving?
Fuck yeah, it's deserving. Thank God. Good job, Colorado. Way to find the money for Coach Prime. Now get the rest of his guys paid. This is huge. That defense is going to be fucking mean next year, bro. I know they lost the Heisman Trophy winner, but they're not going to rebuild. They're going to reload. Colorado's no longer in this. We're having one good year, and then we need to suffer for 4 years to figure out another way to have a good year. No, they're building on 9 wins. The schedule, in my opinion, is extremely favored in our direction, with home games the way they are in Kansas State and Manhattan to finish the season. So you tell me that Colorado and Kansas State isn't the premier matchup in the Big 12 moving forward, the way I've been saying that's going to be our new rival, there it is. So, look, this is a huge fucking get for CU. Well-deserved. Coach Livingston, I'd imagine that, in 2 or 3 years from now, he'll probably go dap his toe in the NFL water and make some more money and see what he can do there. But this is it's good for him. It's stability. He's not looking for a new job right now or trying to go acclimate somewhere else. I'm pumped about this. And, Prime's extension is going to be good too. Everybody keeps asking why he hasn't signed it. Well, he's still under contract. So,
right.
I'm sure he's trying to get everything else done before they sit down and start talking about his extension, which Coach Prime isn't worried about it. He knows it's going to happen. He knows he's going to get what he wants because he deserved it and he earned it. And you can't sit down and go, well, this part of it hasn't really, come to fruition the way we wanted it to. No, since he got the job, everything has gone this way. Everything. Every single thing when it comes to the university. So he deserves the money, and they need to break him off the way they're breaking off the staff and pay this man, and that's it. And that's the end of the fucking conversation. I think he deserves to be in the top 10 coaches in the country from a pay standpoint. So hopefully they can make that happen, to say the least. And then I wanted to say this, first of all, they don't tell you who the consultants are. I'm telling you what's happening. That's not good enough?
Right. Yeah, good Lord. But this is something we've needed, and when I'm like you said, Coach Brian knows the extension's there, but he's got to take care of other stuff like this, which I think is something that's been looming all offseason. Obviously, Coach Brian brought in Livingston from the Bengals in the NFL, and man, this is a huge extension. I'm excited to see what Livingston does with that defense from year 1 to year 2. And I think, like you mentioned, it's a reload. And Phil Dukes talk about Colton Hood all the time. I'm excited to see what Colton Hood does for that defense year 2. But yeah, shout out to Coach Livingston. This is something that we've been waiting for all offseason, and there it is. Matt, let's keep moving here, move forward here. You brought this up earlier as well, and you kind of discussed this preemptively. But Marshall Faulk named Colorado's running back coach. Colorado adds another Hall of Famer to their coaching staff. Matt, go ahead. Your thoughts on this?
Wow. I mean, just the coaching staff is fucking ridiculous, man. So and now I'm assuming that he can coach just as well as he played and whatnot. I mean, he's an unbelievable, versatile player. So kind of revolutionized the running back position from catching the ball and carrying the ball standpoint with the greatest show on turf, an ex-NFL MVP, an absolute stud of a player. This a new opportunity for him. He was in media for a long time, and some shit happened. I don't know, but he's not in media anymore, and now he's coaching. So I'm with it. I think that it's a great get, and I'm interested to see the kind of player that he recruits.
Right.
I'm interested to see what kind of wiggle and shake he puts into the offense with Pat on the back catching the ball and the versatility of the running back. The running back position in the NFL and in college football, and the ability to affect the middle of the field with a guy who can catch the ball and run the ball, as opposed to just getting carries. The running back should be getting 6 to 8 targets in the passing game, and that's not just including screens.
Right.
Because it's a matchup nightmare for nickels and linebackers. Those guys usually aren't as fast as the RBs. So Yeah, man, I think this is a great hire too, and they just keep fucking lobbing them up, and CU keeps fucking dunking them down. I mean, this is impressive as shit.
Yeah, Faulk, you mentioned the recruits that he's going to bring in. I look forward to that he comes into a pretty good running back room. Obviously, Brandon Hood, you'll see. We didn't see last year, but Dallin Hayden, Augustov, and Michael Welch. I think Marshall Faulk can really develop these guys headed into next season. And Matt, another Hall of Famer to Coach Prime's coaching staff. I mean, I just sit here and laugh.
Don't worry, Nick. I'm going to take care of this too. This is already a conversation that Dre and I have had probably 15 times about, George and I had this conversation multiple times. This is, brother, we're going to, trust me, the wheels are spinning.
Yeah. That's part of the running game, and Marshall Faulk look to see a lot more variation in the run game, which Matt and I have been clamoring for on this show all season long last year, and see a change headed into next year. That's a pretty big right there.
Remember now, they're going to be 11-on-11 football.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur is a traditional pocket passer that's great in the pocket and elusive to throw the ball.
Right.
Kyle Salter is Caden Salter, excuse me, and Juju are. I think Juju can really. I think both of them can really spin it, but I think both of them can run their asses off too, and especially the vet. I think that Salt is going to be. He's going to be the salt in the wounds of a lot of fucking people, bro, because his ability, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for, 25 to 3,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing, and you got another Heisman candidate next year. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, that kid, I think that kid is really, really, really going to turn a lot of heads and be one of the quarterback next year that you're talking about, like, wow, can he translate to the NFL? And now Colorado's a quarterback factory. And Juju's next.
Yeah.
I was right about Shedeur. I was right about Travis. I'm telling you, this kid and the offense that they're going to build around him with 11-on-11 football and the ability to run the football with your quarterback and have matchup nightmares for the defense in the run game, the same way that we struggled terribly in certain aspects, stopping the run against teams that could run the ball with their quarterback and their back and were really physical, but they also use misdirection and motion. You're going to see a lot of that next year, in my opinion.
Oh, man. And Matt, you were right about Shedeur and Travis, and headed into this season, Salter coming from Liberty for your starter. Man, I'm really excited to see this offense. And not just, Salter coming in, he's a great quarterback, but having a great quarterback and a run game that can take pressure off the quarterback. That's the one thing last year we kept on harping on is all the pressure.
Coach Faulk is he is the 100% top. He's the running back coach. That's it. I'm sure we'll have like a GA assistant, but he's the guy in the room coaching the backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think, having a run game for Salter is going to take the pressure off him. And then obviously he's very elusive and can spin it. So I'm excited to see that next season as well. But yeah, huge news. Another Hall of Famer added to Colorado's coaching staff. Gotta love it. Nothing else to be said there. Matt, let's take a brief commercial, pay the bills here. When we come back, we're going to talk about a stat that really has come to light here about Shedeur Sanders. He has an all-time college football record that we really got to break down and discuss because I don't think a lot of people in the media are really covering this in the way that they should. I think it's kind of gotten overlooked as people seem to have Colorado fever. I'm tired of seeing all the success, in my opinion. But we'll discuss that. We'll discuss the Jets telling Aaron Rodgers that he had to stop doing Pat McAfee if they wanted to bring him back next season. We'll discuss Ohio State hiring Matt Patricia as their next D coordinator, and so much more. If you're watching, hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Dungeon family for only $2.99. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Peace.
Whether it's offensive linemen as they work combos and double teams and also pass, pro, and punch, I think the unique physicality of this is outstanding. So much so that you can use it for your shield on punt team or as you rush in the shield. There's so many different ways that we're using it. We get better a little bit every single day, and I just wanted to say thank you because I hadn't ever thought of this, and when I saw it, it made total sense, and we're doing a great job with it. So thank you, man. Go Big Red. What this has done for us is it's allowed us to, because of the surface area, because of its firm nature, I can still strike against another player and have to use that punch just like you do on a sled. At the same time, have to time my punch because it could move. I can teach defensive linemen how to handle double teams because they can feel pressure. We can simulate contact in a safe environment in non-contact times because of this unique bag.
Welcome down here to the Lab 60 Football Academy, 60 Strength and Fitness. I am your owner and operator, Matt McChesney. I just wanted to let everybody know that 60 is now on Cameo. You can go on Cameo and request any tips for training, any offensive line, defensive line tips, recruiting tips. I get so many inquiries in my inbox on a daily basis about tips and can you look at my film and can you do this? Can you break down something for me? I'd love to. All right? It's like the Joker said, my man, right here. If you're good at something, never do it for free. So Cameo is now your bridge to 60 Football Academy. Go in, request what you want, tips, suggestions, recruiting, film, and we will make sure that you get the absolute best from the best. So check out 60 on Cameo at 60 Academy. Cameo, 60 Academy. Cameo, 60 Academy.
Matt, we are back here on this fine Wednesday. Lots to talk about. We've covered a lot throughout the show. But man, Matt, the NFL awards, NFL honors came out, and Josh Allen was named MVP over Lamar Jackson. Among other things, Jaden Daniels, obviously offensive rookie of the year, I think much deserving, and so many more. But Matt, Coach Prime, Shedeur, and Bucky, they all wore Coach Prime's diamond turfs to the NFL honors, and so I just wanted to show that briefly. But something else that happened at the NFL honors, Bill Belichick showed up with his 24-year-old girlfriend wearing all of his championship rings, and she wore a ring that she got from, I believe, swimming or cheer or something. But Matt, what do you got to say about this before I show a video to go along with this? Go ahead.
I had no problem with Bill getting it on. Like, look, I was listening to, people on the radio out here in Denver, and I have daughters, and this is unacceptable. Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. That's a 24-year-old. I don't care if she can rent a car or not. That's all woman. She's 24 years old. That is a grown-ass woman. If she wants to go fucking bang the penguin from Batman 2, I'm cool with it. That's that good for her. Obviously, Bill Belichick's got some game that we don't know about, and 8 motherfucking rings or 9 or however many in a boat, and God knows how many millions of dollars. And he decided to wear all of his rings plus his dime piece on his shoulder, and a big fuck you, look how big my dick is. And you know what? Guys with little dick syndrome have a problem with this. But if I'm 72 and fucking, and then a single man like Bill Belichick is, what's the problem?
Matt, this is America. This is America.
Bill, high five, Bill Belichick. I'm with this. And he's got good taste too. She's bad. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like she's not. I got one eyeball. That shit works. And anybody that wants to get mad at me about this, get fucked. Get fucked. Look, I don't like the people that are like, oh, well, how would it feel if a 72-year-old man showed up to date your 24-year-old daughter? And I'm like, first of all, why is my 24-year-old daughter living with me? She's an adult.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Come on.
And also, all the men that have a problem with this, you have no game. All you're doing when you say to me that you have a problem with this is telling me you have little dick syndrome and you have no game. And you wouldn't even attempt to go get some ass. You wouldn't talk to her. you're in the bar nervous at 50 years old. Some chicks like older dudes, bro. Power complex and whatnot. Just be real.
I mean, the way I look at it, this is America. I don't understand how people have problems with shit that like has no effect on them. Give me a fucking break.
Look, Doug, look, good for Bill Belichick. I'm sure that he's having an awesome time. Stop being fucking jealous.
Yeah. And
you don't think he's having a good time? You don't think he had a good time wearing all those rings and trying to fucking?
That's boss shit right there, man. Like,
you think he wears all the rings when he's in Mr. Nasty Time?
All 8 of them.
I know you haven't seen Friday After Next, but Mr. Nasty Time in that fucking movie is like, it lasts like 2 minutes. So I'd imagine that he throws his back out every now and then.
Well, you mentioned she is 24 years old, and Caleb Presley of Sunday Conversation, formerly Barstool, asked Tom Brady if he would rent a car for Belichick's girlfriend. Take a listen.
Belichick follow TB12? Nah. No, he's a big, carb guy. What about his girlfriend? She looks as young and healthy as ever. Sounds like it. I don't know. I don't follow it, too much. If Bill Belichick's girlfriend needed it, would you rent a car for her?
That shit is comedy.
Oh, God,
Caleb, man. That's funny as hell.
It's so funny, dude. I just love how offended people are about it. That makes me even more. It makes me want to talk about it more because it offends people. Like,
right.
I'll be out like tonight. We've got a big groups tonight, and the parents will be in here. So the parents are in the lobby and bullshit, and the kids are in here working. And I walk in between and talk to the parents and and I'll bring this up, and you'll see like half the parents will be like, and all the dads in the room are like, yes. Fucking Bill Belichick's fucking dick's hanging out. Like it's
right.
It's pretty funny with you, bro.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Well, let's stick
right here. Here's another one. This is pretty funny too. Bill can't keep up with that young female. I don't know, dog.
Yeah, fucking right.
I watched Bill without his shirt on one day, like looking like he's on some testosterone and that fucking like an ED pill, and that like he's one good night away from having a heart attack and dying. And I guarantee you, he would die with a reverse closed casket, judging by the way she looks.
He looks just fine to me. I don't know what the old boy in the chat's talking about there.
Well, go to town, Bill.
Yeah, shout out to Bill. Matt, but let's talk about one of Bill's old assistants here.
Only a matter of time before he's on OnlyFans.
One of Bill Belichick's old assistants with the New England Patriots, Matt Patricia, has been hired as Ohio State's defensive coordinator. Now, Matt, as far as I know, Patricia's been coaching strictly in the NFL, and I don't believe he's coached college since 2003. But Ohio State brings him in as their defensive coordinator. So now we've seen Bill Belichick, Lombardi, and all these old NFL coaches now headed into college. And Ohio State brings in Patricia as their defensive coordinator. Matt, as somebody who's played in that division for a long time, what are your thoughts on this hire?
I'm sure he'll do a good job. He's a long-time NFL coach. What? So Marshall Faulk can just go coach after not coaching for 20 years and never coaching, but this long-time coach can't be successful? I mean, come on, dog. He'll do just fine. I'm not saying that about you, motherfucker. That's the narrative. I'm saying he'll be fine. He's got great talent. I'm sure that this will set him up for a better job down the road as it's kind of coaching rehab. You know, when he had good players in New England, they were pretty good. And he's going to have the best players money can buy at Ohio State, so they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, that is true. He will have the best players money can buy. But yeah, like you mentioned, I don't really have any doubt him coming from the NFL to college to coach. Well, he won't have any issue. He'll just have to adjust.
Ohio State doesn't have bad coaches. They just have guys that can go there and manage first rounders. Like, you know how bad of a coach you have to be to go Ohio State and be a bad coach? They have the best players.
Bad hire from Ohio State standards. They just brought in Chip Kelly last year. Like,
Chip Kelly, was that a bad hire? He did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Offense looked pretty good in the damn playoffs. So yeah, but
some guys are better. Like, you have to understand, assistants actually get to coach. Head coaches are CEOs. So if you look at Matt Patricia and go, he was a bad head coach, but Belichick was the only reason he was a good coach in New England, that's the most short-sighted shit I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Even McDaniels is a good assistant head coach or assistant coach.
Right.
Terrible head coach, but a good assistant.
Right.
So when you get the opportunity to coach instead of CEO and talk to the fucking media and be the mouthpiece for the team and all this other shit, this isn't the guy you want talking to the fucking media.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's a hermit that watches tape for 23 hours a day because he is.
Yeah.
He's a football guy. He's not a fucking CEO of an organization. Like, just let him go dissect film and point the 8 future first rounders that are on Ohio State's defense in the right direction to go hunt. And they will be in the playoff next year and probably defending their national title. So miss me with all this. It's a bad hire. Why? Why? Because he was a bad head coach for Detroit. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't really understand why people are saying it's a bad hire for Ohio State. I mean, we just mentioned Chip Kelly, and
it's a bad hire if he goes there and, like, I don't know anything about the man personally, but hypothetically, if he goes there and drinks himself under the fucking table and, like, can't go to work and is a total degenerate, then it's a bad hire. Other than that, I don't see any way that it could be shitty.
Right, and you mentioned it's like coaching rehab. I mean, Chip Kelly goes to Ohio State now with the Raiders. Patricia goes to Ohio State. We'll see what he does with that defense. I mean, he'll have plenty of resources to build up.
Is this still news? We've been talking about this for like a month now, too, right?
I don't understand.
Yes.
Yes, Matt will be consulted for.
Yes, that's it. Like, we've talked about it multiple times, folks. We're not going to like write articles and shit about it here. We're in the spoken communication game, not the typing communication game.
Right, exactly.
Spoken word.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about Ohio State coaching rehab, you think if Patricia has like serious success year one, he's gone to the NFL, or he'll look at that
fecal matter. Craig, you're killing me.
Oh,
I obviously don't know fecal matter about your business.
That's funny.
Touche, brother. Touche. That's my bad. Yes, I'm going to be consulting for Colorado and a couple of other schools this offseason through my business at 6-0, with both on the recruiting front and the offensive and defensive line work and such. I mean, this is what I do. So, yes, I'm very excited about it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the only way that I can keep what I'm doing here going, which I can't walk away from. I'm accountable to a lot of people. People are invested in the business. I'm not saying like partners. I'm talking about the kids.
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk away from the guys that are in here busting their ass, and my son's one of them. So
yeah, I respect
this is a way for me to help my alma mater and my business and the kids that I'm already working with, and place them, and also work with the NFL guys. We had a good group in here today of them, and it allows everything to keep moving forward, and also allows me to go consult for other schools as well when they come a knocking.
For sure.
Well, God damn it, I can't keep them out of the room. That's one thing I will say this. I'm hoping that, that Dre is down here as much as I think he will be, because that's been kind of an issue in the past, as we don't really have a lot of. I don't expect Coach Prime to come down here. He doesn't do home visits. I'm saying, like, the same rate that the other offensive line coaches are in this room, CU needs to be in this room double that, considering this is their home state. So whether it's Gunner or Dre or Coach Hang, that's just what it is. If you want to recruit the kids in this room and in this state seriously, you got to be in front of them. That's just what it is.
No doubt. Yeah, well, exciting news on the 6-0 Academy's booming, Matt. And nothing changed. It just keeps rolling. But, man, let's move forward here, talk some more news before we get out of here. And
what's the broomstick idea? My mind is racing on this one, dog. Tell me, Westside, what's this mean?
Oh, no, don't get that started today.
Well,
Well, Matt, I got to ask you. You'll have a good insight on this, Matt. Your former team, the New York Jets.
No, fuck this.
Oh no.
My favorite.
Soaker.
I love you have to like fucking clarify that you're a black dude in order to not get the woke pussies in the chat. They're all white people mad at you. It's so fucking funny.
Shout out to Craig Johnson. You're the man. That's funny.
Keep it up. All right,
Yeah.
what were you saying about Aaron Rodgers
all
doesn't play for the Jets anymore?
Yeah, so your former team, the New York Jets, reportedly told Aaron Rodgers that he can no longer appear on Pat's show, if he wanted to return to the Jets next season with the head coach Aaron Glenn. Matt, what are your thoughts on this? This is interesting news. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to walk away from a bunch of money that Pat's throwing him. I think he likes going on a McAfee show. I don't understand why the Jets really have a problem with this, considering that Belichick's on there and you see several other people in football using this opportunity to go on McAfee to their advantage, and it's also a lot of money. Matt, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead.
I don't have a problem with Aaron Glenn saying that he doesn't want him to be on McAfee's show. He doesn't need the money. He's doing the straight clout. Like, let's be real, everyone. Aaron Rodgers only gives a fuck about Aaron Rodgers.
Mm.
You can watch his documentary and you can go get high as fuck on ayahuasca and like.
Yeah.
I've had mushroom evenings where I love everybody. Man, this is the best. Look at the sky. Oh my God, man. Fucking yeah. Yeah, okay. What the fuck, dog? It's the drugs.
Right.
So Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback who severely underachieved and couldn't figure out a way to get back to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I think about it, the more I think that it's probably he's the reason that they never made it back rather than the reason they were there in the first place. That makes sense?
I hear you.
Because it seems to me like he's extremely selfish, self-centered, and if it's not good for Aaron, then it's just not good. He's the kind of guy that like I just don't think he has a whole lot of empathy for people. I think he just thinks he's better than everyone in the room. And honestly, if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're sucking the way they did last year, why would you want to continue to go on McAfee? I'd be like, look, I need to focus. I'd respect more if he was like, Pat, until we get things rolling, I need to focus on being the Jet quarterback and fucking winning games, not coming on your show and talking shit like, oh, it's not a big deal. We're 3-11.
Yeah, that's a good
Fuck
point.
you, Aaron. Like, as a guy who played for the Jets, it is a big deal that we're 3-11. You're supposed to come here and be the savior. At least Brett Favre went 9-7 and like gave a shit. At least he gave a shit. I was there with Brett. You can sit there and talk shit about Brett all you want, Aaron Rodgers, but I roll with Brett Favre 100 times out of 100 over your soft ass. Like, I had so much respect for this guy when he played in Green Bay. I thought he was the ultimate ball spinner and a baller. And when he got to New York, and I'm more focused on the Jets because I played for him and I want him to see him pull out of this hole. And the entire Achilles thing and the coming back this year and the way he's approached it and missing the mandatory mini camp and all this fucking Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that shit. Give me a fucking break. Miss me, dog. Miss me. I'm just talking about the football players here. I'm not fucking advocating that Brett Favre's a better person or anything. Shit the fuck up. I'm saying, like, I played with Brett Favre in New York. So when I was there when they traded Chad, and then I followed Chad to Miami when they cut me in the middle of the year. So Brett Favre gave a fuck. He was trying to win in New York and then left. It'd be so funny to me if he ends up in Minnesota playing for Kevin O'Connell and does pretty well. That would be pretty funny if they both follow the same exact path.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I hear you about Aaron Rodgers, and I get, the mandatory minicamp and him not showing up, being in Egypt or wherever, ayahuasca shit. Yeah, it does create a self-centered look, and
he just
I gotta ask you
to me. Look, money doesn't set the table as a man. In the locker room, what you do on film and how you treat your teammates and how you give effort-wise and time-wise is way more important than the dollar figure you get to deposit. Period. And everyone knows you can have a fucking $100 million contract, but if you got a $15 fucking work ethic, the guy with a $15 contract will be there longer than the guy with the $100 million contract because his work ethic is at $100 million. And I'm really hoping that the players even Garrett Wilson was so tired of playing with this fucking guy, a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, that he couldn't stand being around because Aaron's not about football. Aaron's about fucking ayahuasca and good feelings. And don't you notice how nothing matters to Aaron Rodgers? Everything's just like roll off the back. He doesn't get emotional about anything. He doesn't really care about anything because he's got too much fucking money. He just sits back. It doesn't matter if they win. It doesn't matter if they lose. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's already a great. He doesn't really care about winning. He's like the fucking LeBron James of the NFL.
Damn. Now, let's look at it from a different angle. What if I said to you this? Let's say he did give a shit about winning, but he's also kind of a fucking weirdo and does the ayahuasca shit and fucking does do some self-centered shit. He's also 40 years old. What if I said to you this? And let's look forward, since obviously he's done with the Jets. And where is his next stop, Matt? Is it JB brought this up this morning and yesterday? Is it Indianapolis? Because they need a quarterback. He could be with Boy McAfee. Huh?
I think he's going to play. He's going to go to Minnesota.
I don't agree with you. I think they'll keep Sam Darnold. I think that there's too much pressure riding on that. I think they'll keep Sam Darnold and keep McCarthy. And if they don't keep Sam Darnold, they have Daniel Jones and J.J. McCarthy to fuck with, and we'll see how that goes. You don't see him either the Colts or maybe the Raiders.
Don't go to the Raiders, please. Just draft Shedeur and move forward. Like, the Raiders don't need that. He can't go to the fucking Raiders. Like, bringing Aaron Rodgers into a team that's not very good and expecting him to do anything but fuck it up more, you're crazy. If you're the Colts and you bring him in, I'm not saying it won't happen. They do need a quarterback. AR5 is not the guy. That guy's fucking terrible. If they bring in Aaron Rodgers and they think that all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers is going to elevate them to the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers is going to destroy your fucking franchise. You're going to win 4 games. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards, but he's not going to help you. He'll be there for a year, and you'll have to go out and retread another quarterback the same. At least Phillip Rivers got you to the playoffs. Matt Ryan was a disaster. You might as well just go fucking sign Matt Ryan again. Go get Joe Flacco again. It's the same thing. Aaron Rodgers is cooked, bro. It's over.
Man, you don't see any scenario that he can lead. Because Matt, besides the Jets, which you played for them, it's not just it's like going to the Raiders.
Look, Doug, they're questioning whether Craig is black. What is happening in the chat today?
What? Okay, yeah, chat. I'm not going to pay
I'm going off what people are typing. You guys are going to have to fucking fight about this one amongst yourselves.
Yeah, that's y'all shit. Unbelievable. But Matt, you're convinced that Aaron Rodgers done. There's no, if he went to the Niners with that situation.
I'm not saying that. Look at Russell Wilson's stats the last 3 years, and it would insinuate that he's not done.
I think it was the right team. He's not done, but you might never agree on that.
And then you watch him play, and you go, "This is a product of the fucking NFL sucking." He's not really good. Period. Aaron Rodgers' numbers in New York last year were pretty good.
They're not bad.
He was fucking terrible. Russell Wilson's numbers in Denver last year and in Pittsburgh this year were pretty good. He was fucking terrible. He was terrible. You can't tell me he wasn't.
I don't like that. Russell Wilson led the Steelers to the playoffs. The Jets won how many games, Matt? Let's be real. Let's be fucking real.
I don't give a fuck, dog. He was still terrible. They lost 6 games in a row at the end of the season. I don't want to hear this shit. All right, give me a fucking break. They were awful at the end of the season under Russell Wilson. Stop with this fucking love affair with Russ. If he
but you're comparing two situations.
I just brought him up as a fucking example because they're both washed with good numbers. Yeah, you can have good numbers and be washed, and don't tell me you can't.
That's true.
So both guys, Aaron even more so, being a 4 fucking time MVP and a guy who had a bunch of weapons in New York and couldn't figure it out, it's pretty fucking embarrassing to go out like that. But when you don't give a shit or you fake, see, Russ is fake. Aaron just doesn't give a shit. I don't know which one's worse.
That's now I gotta ask you, Brett. You mentioned Brett Favre, and you play with Brett Favre, and you mentioned Brett Favre won 9 games with the Jets. Now, where can Aaron? Because Aaron's going to go somewhere. If he's going to continue to play, he made the effort to go talk to the Jets. He's going to keep playing, I believe. Where do you believe is the best fit for Aaron? If you had to pick a team right now, if you had to, you got the Raiders that need a quarterback, Colts. Who else? I mean, you could argue Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in the running, actually, because they only have one quarterback on the roster right now. That's Skylar Thompson.
I would take Aaron Rodgers if he's going to play. I would take him over fucking Russell Wilson every day, but I don't want either of them. I don't know where Aaron's going to end up. At his house, fucking smoking dope with JFK, running for fucking vice president. I'll tell you, if you want to not get my vote, put this motherfucker on the bill. I want somebody that's actually going to show up to work.
Well, I don't know if he's going into politics, but
we need people there that are going to show up to work and do stuff, not just fucking get a free ride and get a bunch of money and be like, it's not a big deal if we don't do it right. We tried. We were out there working hard, and our team sure did try and sacrifice. Shut the fuck up. This is a winning business. You either win or you don't, period.
Yeah, well, Aaron moves on. If I had to make a prediction, since Matt thinks he's cooked and isn't going to any team, I'm saying the Colts for the McAfee factor. I mean, it's either that or some team on the West Coast. It's up to the Niners. What do the Niners do with Purdy? Are they going to extend him and give him that Tua money or what? He's from the West Coast.
Win, dog. If he goes to the Colts, I don't give a shit. They won't. They will not be the team you think they will be. Even with Jonathan Taylor and Pittman and all these guys. Yeah, good. He's got weapons. It's still him. He's not going to contribute the time and the effort it takes to be an MVP caliber quarterback anymore. Period.
I think if he was fully Matt, I don't agree. If that's the case, why did he just fucking retire last year?
Because he got to come back off of his Achilles. He didn't want to go out.
Well, then why isn't he retiring now? That's my point. I don't understand. Why even be with the Jets if he's done?
Because in the back of his mind, he's such a fucking narcissist that he can't just look at what he's done and be happy with it. He's got to fucking go out on top. And he won't put in the work to do it, though. Bailey, come on, dog. That fucking Jet roster was so loaded. All he had to do was walk in and take over.
Matt, Matt, that Jets roster was loaded, and then what happened? Jermaine Johnson, who's best pass rusher, is done for the year.
Oh, my God. How many fucking excuses you want to make for this guy?
Well, Matt, you're sitting here acting like the Jets are the easy situation to win in, bro. It's not
like shit, dude. They did everything they could to accommodate him. They traded for Devontae Adams. He's got Garrett fucking Wilson. He's got Conklin. They went out and signed Tyron Smith. They grabbed his coach. They got Bryce Hall. They got fucking the Allen kid, who's also a hammer. They hired his best friend to be the offensive coordinator. He was terrible. Robert Saleh has a fucking relationship with him because of the coaching carousel and the Shanahans and everybody. He was awful in that situation as well. They bent over fucking backwards to accommodate for Aaron Rodgers. What are you talking about?
But you've said yourself that in order for the Jets to be successful, they'd have to gut the organization from the top down.
Well, yeah, after the Aaron Rodgers experiment they do. Fuck, this obviously didn't work.
Well, yeah, but if we're being real, wasn't Robert Saleh going to fire Hackett and then they fired Saleh? That's the thing. I'm like, I don't know. You got to look at that too. We're sitting here acting like,
dude, I know what I'm looking at. Trust me. And there's no excuse made for Aaron Rodgers that's going to ride.
I'm not making an excuse. You got to look. You just got to look at the facts of the situation, though. I'm not like sitting here just.
I'm not looking at the fucking facts. What are you talking about? I just
no, you're
laid
sitting
out
right
facts on how they supported him. You don't roll your
Yeah,
motherfucking
I hear you,
eyes
but you're
like I
also
don't know
you're
what
only
I'm
looking
talking
at how they
about.
support
You
him.
need me to lay it out for you again?
Huh?
You need me to lay out the fucking transition again on everything they did to accommodate this fucking guy?
And
What
then I
did he
can say
do?
the
What
same
did he
thing
do
what
to
I
live
just
up
said,
to the
Matt.
billing?
Well,
What did he do to live up to the billing, Bailey? Because they accommodated him at every turn. And all they asked was not go on fucking ESPN, and he said no, and now he doesn't have a job. So you tell me, how bad does he really want to play? Does
I
he
think
want
if
to
he
stay
didn't
where
want
his
to play,
best
he'd
friend
retire.
is? He
I
doesn't
think
want
if
to
he
play
didn't want to play, he'd
that.
retire.
He'd rather be on TV than play football.
That's not
Yes,
okay.
that's
Okay, so then if that's the case, he'll retire. Then we'll see.
well, then what the Colts haven't given that fucking.
Well, he's on a June
ultimatum?
1st. Well, Matt, he's on a June 1st designation. He'll be able to sign with a team March 12th. So then
Well,
we'll
March fucking 13th, we'll see if he wants to play football anymore.
Amen to that. March 13th, we'll be here and discuss Aaron Rodgers. But
Trying to fucking sit here and like fucking vouch for this turd. Fuck him.
well, we gotta look at it from all sides, Matt.
You gotta look at shit. I ain't gotta look at nothing from the other side. I know exactly what the fuck I'm looking at. I just laid out exactly what the Jets have done over the last 2 years to accommodate for this fucking turd. And he didn't do anything to accommodate the Jets or be the player he could have been. Missing mini camps, nothing's important. Fucking bringing in his buddies,
You're
training for
Again, I acknowledge all that.
Break, dog. I can break this down all day. I know what I'm talking about. Give me a fucking
And I didn't push, bro. I literally said all the shit you said. I said that. I said he can't go to fucking Egypt. I said all that shit during the mandatory shit. I said all that. But I also am like, you yourself have said that organization is not going to win unless you gut it from the fucking top. And you know that better than anybody.
After the Aaron Rodgers experiment failed. That's what I didn't say it when they signed him. When they signed him, I thought it was going to fucking be awesome because of all the pieces and the way they were trying to accommodate him.
I know, but we talked about this in like July, and we said this about the Jets. Like, this is just the narrative. But
so
Matt,
what the fuck are you? What are you trying to fucking validate here, dog? I've said what I had to say about Aaron Rodgers. What
two
else?
things can be true, as Big Smitty says. But March 13th, once Aaron can sign with the team, I'm sure we'll discuss this. Let's move forward, Matt. This is the last thing we'll discuss. Colorado news here. This is a stat that came out. Shedeur has the all-time pass completion percentage in college football history. This is an interesting stat that came out, and Shedeur tweeted it and said legendary. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on this? I don't think media is really highlighting this and covering this in the way they should. I mean, you would think that if Shedeur is the top, has that type of record, you'd cover it more. But I mean, I don't know. Colorado fever. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's not Colorado fever. It's a percentage. It's a completion. There's no like stat padding or anything. It's a fucking completion percentage. He's the number one completion percentage in the history of college football. That makes him the number one pick, and I don't even think it's questionable.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to question whether or not he's going to be successful, that number.
Right. And
he's going to dice up the NFL because of that, because he's fucking accurate.
Yeah. And I highlighted this because, Matt, you would think that on, NFL Network and ESPN and, you're covering this. I mean, have you heard this stat brought up? The first time I heard this was on Twitter.
Oh, dude, people like, I'm sure that nobody has brought this up because I only heard about it yesterday. But I'm telling you, 71.8 completion percentage is pretty goddamn impressive. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, this should be the number one thing that they're talking about, bro. But, of course, look, they're going to do everything humanly possible to try and talk this kid down because they don't like how cocky it is. They don't like that he's legendary. They don't like it. They don't like that he does rap songs. They don't like that he goes to Fashion Week. They don't like that he has swag. They don't like it. They don't like that shit. And that sucks because he's bringing it. This is why he needs to go to the Raiders and play for Pete Carroll. This is why. He doesn't need to go to the fucking Giants and play a year for Brian Dable before he gets fired and be on a coaching carousel. And that's not a good fit. No. He needs to go to the Raiders. They need to stop fucking around and trade up and make this happen. Go play for Pete Carroll in Vegas where you can have swag and he can go fucking live his life and be the Raider quarterback where they need a guy like Shedeur Sanders in Las Vegas with the Raider fucking emblem on the head. They need a guy like this to run that organization.
Let me say this.
Fast, big blue. Fuck that. Don't go to the Giants.
I don't think Pete Carroll's going to draft a rookie quarterback. No way. That personally, I just don't think at his age that he's going to sit there and have the time to develop Shedeur in 3 years. I just don't think it's going to happen personally. Now let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this about the Giants. You got to remember with Brian Daboll, you think he's a one and done. He won 9. He won. We won a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
He's been here for 4 fucking years. Who said he was a one and done? Who said that?
You said it, Shedeur.
I said he gets fired after next year, which he will.
I don't agree with you though. That if they drafted Shedeur, I would be pretty optimistic. Remember, he won a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
Shedeur and they go 5-12. He's getting fired.
If they go 5-12, I don't see that if they draft Shedeur.
I don't give a fuck what you see. I'm telling you the way it is. He's gonna get fired.
I don't know.
If they go 5-12,
you gotta put a little bit more respect on Daboll.
And they will bring in somebody else to work with Shedeur. Don't tell me he won't. They're not going to go 3 straight years losing seasons with multiple losses if that were to happen.
Yeah, if they were having to bring in Shedeur and have a losing season, sure. But I'm a little bit more on Brian Daboll than people might think. He won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. People just forget that because he had a horrible season
years ago. With Saquon and everybody else. Great. They won a playoff game 3 years ago. So, again.
That's what kills me because Saquon, he was hurt half that year, though. That's the thing. People don't want to look at that.
Really, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? It was 3 years ago. If Brian Daboll struggles next year, they will fire him. Yeah, and they'll bring in another hot offensive coordinator to work with Shedeur if he's quarterback there. Period.
I don't see the Shedeur or the Raiders thing. I just don't think Pete Carroll brings in a rookie quarterback. I think Pete
Carroll, the last time he had a ton of success was with a rookie quarterback that he drafted in the 3rd round. Your best friend.
3rd round. Right. He didn't draft him with the 6th pick. That's my point. But like you mentioned that
he still made – hold on. Russell Wilson went in the 3rd round and replaced somebody they gave like an $80 million contract to.
You're right. Matt Flynn.
Right. I don't give a shit where he's drafted. He's still a rookie.
Well, we know Shedeur's not going to fall in the 3rd round. Pete Carroll's known for getting talent in late rounds. If he has that 5th or 6th pick,
if he has a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, he'll be able to win. Rookie quarterbacks on rookie contracts allow you to stack the team.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's the Raiders. You really think that Pete Carroll with the 6th pick, who's a defensive guy, is going to draft a quarterback?
Yes, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. You're right, they don't have a quarterback. But I don't think with the 6th pick you're doing that. No way. I just don't agree with that.
That's exactly why I've said 15 times that they need to move up.
See, I don't think they do that either, though. I just don't see it. I don't see them drafting a quarterback with the top 10 pick.
This isn't like
the 2 Michigan cats.
Let's fucking ask Andy what he thinks about the Raiders pick. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just saying they could move up if they're going to. If they draft Shedeur, that's the route. Period. That's what I think they should do.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned that you think that this stat should make Shedeur the number 1 pick. So our guy, he's been on the show, Joe Klatt, put out a mock draft that has the Giants trading up to pick 1 to draft Shedeur. And he explained why, he thought about Shedeur being the number 1 pick. But what are your thoughts on this mock draft? And then we can kind of break down our own here. But go ahead. What are your thoughts? Is Shedeur solidified as 1?
I don't have a fucking clue. If he solidified as 1, Cam Ward could easily go number 1 too.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It depends on who's going to trade and how they're going to move and all of those things. So the draft the way it is right now is not the way it's going to stay.
Agreed.
Like Cleveland, if they really think they're going to lose Myles Garrett, probably stay there and take Abdul Carter. But everybody else in the top, with now the Jets not having a quarterback either because now they need one. Every single fucking team there, with the exception of New England, needs a fucking quarterback. So don't tell me there's not going to be crazy-ass movement and trades and people trying to get in position to take one of these 2 guys. And especially if the Jackson Dart kid keeps climbing up draft boards the way he is, he's going to be in the fucking mix too because everybody needs a quarterback on a rookie contract so they can go out and fucking stack the deck and try and win a fucking Super Bowl. The same way the fucking Commanders just did it and went from 4 wins to the top.
Oh, now I have a question for you. Now I have a really good question for you. So the Jets are at 7. Any shot they trade up to 1. And I know you.
My can't the Raiders do it from 6 if the Jets could do it
Well,
from 7?
Because I think the Jets are more desperate to take a quarterback in the top 10 than the Raiders.
Oh, my God. Neither one of them have a quarterback, dog. The Titans are desperate for a quarterback. The Giants are desperate for a quarterback. The Browns are desperate for a quarterback. The fucking Raiders and the Jets are both desperate for quarterbacks. I bet you even Jacksonville's desperate for a quarterback, considering they just drafted the guy number 1, and he's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you're right. They all need quarterbacks. I don't see it with the Raiders, man. You're so convinced the Raiders are going to draft the quarterback with the top 10
I'm not
pick.
convinced.
Never, when he had a top 10 pick the quarterback. Never. And even when they needed one, they never did it. Never. And I don't think he's going to change.
And now Tom Brady's running shit and not the Davises.
Yeah, but you don't get Pete Carroll unless Pete Carroll has some sort of autonomy when it comes to this shit. Personally. You don't think so?
I think that Pete Carroll likes rookie quarterbacks on rookie deals.
Yeah, but I don't think in the top 10. Not with those two Michigan cats there, the corner and the D tackle, Mason Graham, who you know better than anybody is going to be a
awesome. You can have a corner. If you don't have a quarterback, you're fucked. The Broncos drafted PS2 3 years ago, and he didn't have a quarter. The minute he got a fucking quarterback on the other side of the ball and they went to the playoffs, he was the defensive player of the year. You think that's coincidence?
No, but I'm not. You're not hearing me. I just don't think the Raiders take a top.
Trust me, dude. I'm sorry, but I've got more experience with you than you about all this kind of shit.
I'm not.
Man, what are we fucking arguing about quarterbacks?
No,
what the fuck
you're getting pissed because I'm saying I don't think the Raiders will take a quarterback in the top 10 picks.
Fucking get your feelings all up about it. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you the way I think it's going to play out, the same way you are.
Yeah. Well, then there's nothing else to be said. We'll discuss and put out our own mock draft, I'm sure, before the draft gets here. But, man.
I really doubt I'm going to put out a mock draft, but whatever. I'm sure we'll react to fucking Mel the Viper Kuiper's mock draft. Yeah, and old Todd McShay and all the fucking geniuses.
I think we'll only react to Mel Kiper because I think we have history with Mel. But Shedeur, another stat, all-time leader in passing completion percentage in college football history. Something needs to be highlighted more. But Matt, great show. Lots of good debates on this fine Wednesday. We'll be back Friday, potentially with a special guest that we will potentially announce here in the next day or so. But, man, any closing thoughts before we get out of here, Matt?
No. Enjoy your day. See you guys Friday.
See you guys Friday.
I got to go. I got to go get my kids. So, peace.
I'll see you later. Good show.
Yeah, good shit.